Have you ever noticed that some of the smartest people you've ever met don't actually look smart? They're not always the loudest in the room. They're not always showing off. And sometimes they seem strangely disconnected from the world around them. Here's the surprising truth. People with extremely high IQs often think differently, feel differently, and experience life differently than most people. While intelligence is usually seen as a gift, psychology shows that it can also come with challenges that few people ever talk about. Because when your mind is constantly running at full speed, the world can start feeling unusually slow. And that changes everything. Today, we're exploring the psychology of people with extremely high IQs. And some of these traits might completely change the way you see intelligence. Number 1. They spend a lot of time inside their own heads. Hey, have you ever met someone who seems physically present but mentally somewhere else? You might be talking to them, they're listening, but at the same time, they're thinking about 10 other things. This is common among people with exceptionally high IQs. Their minds naturally generate more connections, possibilities, and scenarios than the average person. Psychologists often associate this with high levels of abstract thinking. While most people focus on what's happening right now, highly intelligent individuals often drift into ideas, theories, future possibilities, or complex mental simulations. To others, they may appear distracted, but internally, they're exploring entire worlds. The downside? They can sometimes overthink simple situations. A casual comment becomes an hour-long analysis. A small decision turns into 20 different outcomes. Their greatest strength can also become their greatest trap, because intelligence doesn't always create clarity. Sometimes it creates more questions, and more questions create more mental noise. Number 2. They often feel misunderstood. One of the loneliest experiences in life is feeling like nobody truly understands how you think. And many highly intelligent people know that feeling well. Research has shown that people naturally connect with others who process information at a similar level. But when someone's thinking patterns are significantly different from those around them, communication can become surprisingly difficult. They may jump between ideas quickly. They may see connections that others don't immediately notice. They may ask questions that seem unusual. As a result, they sometimes learn to stay quiet, not because they have nothing to say, but because explaining their thoughts can feel exhausting. Over time, this can create a sense of isolation. Imagine constantly translating your mind into a language everyone else can understand. Eventually, some people stop trying, and that's why many highly intelligent individuals appear reserved or distant. It's not arrogance, it's often fatigue. Number 3. They are naturally curious about almost everything. Most people become interested in subjects they enjoy. Highly intelligent people often become interested in subjects they've never even considered before. A random question can send them down a rabbit hole for hours. They'll read articles, watch documentaries, analyze competing viewpoints, and keep digging long after everyone else has lost interest. Psychologists call this trait intellectual curiosity, and it's one of the strongest predictors of lifelong learning. The reason is simple. Their brains are highly stimulated by new information. Learning feels rewarding. Discovering patterns feels exciting. Solving mysteries feels satisfying. To them, knowledge isn't just useful, it's entertaining. This is why many highly intelligent people know a little bit about everything: history, science, philosophy, psychology, economics, technology. They collect ideas the way some people collect souvenirs, because for them, understanding the world is an endless adventure. Number 4. They question everything. Most people accept many things without much thought: social rules, traditions, common beliefs, popular opinions. But highly intelligent people often have a different instinct. Their first reaction isn't acceptance, it's curiosity. Why? How? Does that actually make sense? Psychologists link this to analytical thinking. Rather than automatically following assumptions, they naturally examine them. This can make them excellent problem solvers, but it can also create friction, because society often rewards conformity, questioning authority, questioning systems, questioning accepted truths. These behaviors can make others uncomfortable. Yet many of humanity's greatest breakthroughs came from people who refused to accept simple answers. People who kept asking questions long after everyone else stopped. The challenge is that constant questioning can also create uncertainty. When you see multiple sides of every issue, making decisions becomes harder, because intelligence often reveals complexity where others see simplicity. Number 5. They can struggle socially more than people realize. Movies often portray geniuses as socially awkward stereotypes. reality is more complicated. Many highly intelligent people have excellent social skills, but they often experience social interactions differently. Small talk may feel draining. Server-level conversations may feel repetitive. They crave depth, meaning, authenticity. Instead of discussing the weather, they'd rather discuss human nature. Instead of gossiping, they'd rather explore ideas. The problem is that daily life doesn't always provide those opportunities. This can create a disconnect, not because they dislike people, but because they long for conversations that stimulate both the mind and the soul. Some psychologists suggest that highly intelligent individuals tend to prioritize quality over quantity in relationships. They may have fewer friends, but the friendships they do have often run incredibly deep because for them, connection isn't about proximity, it's about understanding. Number 6. They are often highly self-aware. Imagine having a spotlight constantly shining on your own thoughts. That's what self-awareness can feel like, and highly intelligent people often experience it intensely. They analyze their behavior, question their motives, reflect on their decisions, examine their emotions. This can lead to remarkable personal growth, but it can also become overwhelming. Because when you're deeply aware of your flaws, mistakes, and limitations, confidence becomes more complicated. Interestingly, psychology has identified something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. People with lower competence often overestimate their abilities. Meanwhile, highly competent individuals frequently underestimate theirs. Why? Because the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. The smartest person in the room is often the one most aware of their own ignorance. And that awareness can create humility, but sometimes it also creates self-doubt. Number 7. They frequently feel out of sync with the world. This may be the most fascinating trait of all. Many highly intelligent people describe feeling different from an early age, not better, not superior, just different. Their interests may not match those of their peers. Their questions may seem unusual. Their concerns may appear deeper than expected for their age. As children, they often feel older than they are. As adults, they sometimes feel disconnected from mainstream culture. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as asynchronous development. Certain aspects of their thinking advance rapidly, while other parts of life continue at a normal pace. The result can feel strange. Imagine having conversations in your mind that nobody around you seems interested in having. Imagine seeing possibilities that others overlook. Imagine constantly observing patterns that most people never notice. Over time, this can create a feeling of standing slightly outside the crowd, watching, analyzing, understanding, yet never fully belonging. And for many highly intelligent people, that feeling remains throughout life. But here's what most people get wrong about intelligence. They assume a high IQ automatically leads to happiness, success, fulfillment. But psychology tells a more nuanced story. Intelligence is a tool, a powerful one. But like any tool, its impact depends on how it's used. A brilliant mind can solve extraordinary problems, yet still struggle with loneliness. A person can understand complex theories, yet struggle to understand their own emotions. They can predict outcomes, analyze systems, see hidden patterns, and still face the same human challenges as everyone else. Because at the end of the day, intelligence doesn't replace connection, it doesn't replace purpose, and it doesn't replace emotional well-being. In fact, some of the happiest people aren't necessarily the smartest. They're the ones who learn how to balance knowledge with wisdom, lack with emotion, achievement with meaning. So if you recognize yourself in these traits, remember this: your intelligence isn't defined by test scores, it's not defined by how much you know, and it's not defined by how quickly you think. True intelligence is knowing how to use your mind without becoming trapped inside it. It's being curious without becoming cynical, self-aware without becoming self-critical, different without becoming isolated. Because the most powerful mind is not the one that knows the most. It's the one that understands itself. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment below, and tell us which trait surprised you the most. Because understanding psychology isn't just about understanding other people. It's about finally understanding yourself. And sometimes that's the most fascinating mystery of all.